Joy and welcome to my studio. Today we're going to be doing the antique Easter basket and eggs. I'm going to do the Easter basket, then I'll talk you through the gourd eggs. What we're going to start with is just a little cardboard Easter basket that I found at Dollar Tree, of course, for $1. So it's not plastic or anything, it's just a thicker cardboard, and they have different designs. It doesn't matter what type of design you use. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to gesso it to cover up our design. And the reason it gesso seals it, so it helps cover that design up so we can put a paint over it nice and easy. And I put 2 layers of this, and then it covered, my paint covered the rest of it, no problem. But gesso is different from an acrylic paint, regular paint, because it is a sealer. So we're going to do all that. Don't forget to do your handle on the underneath and also on the little rim around there as well. Now you can see this guy, I've already put 2 coats on, and I'm going to come back in, and I stuck with metallic acrylic paints. And I did pick these up at Walmart or your craft store or anything like that. And we're going to put a layer of them on. And they're so much better too if you have an undercoat first. They cover so much better and thicker. So the gesso gives it that you don't have to put a lighter color of acrylic paint or something over that. So you're just going to put that right on the basket. And you'll probably want to do 2 coats of this just because you want the paint all nice and even and everything. And you can use any color you want. I'm using, like I said, the metallics to give it kind of that antique look, but you've got reds and purples and greens, so there's no reason that you have to use just the blue. You do whatever color that you feel like you would want. So we're going to get this guy. And then another thing I did on mine, because a part that was going to show, I came back in, remember we talked about covering part of that up with your gesso, and I didn't go all the way down. I went down enough that if you put the grass in, that it wouldn't show. And I left my handle up because you've kind of got some play in this, but after we get the design and everything on it, it's really not going to move much, so we want that kind of standing up there. Alright, so we've got that base coated. What I used was puffy paints, and I tried some different products and I didn't really like anything as well. I wanted it a little bit thicker, so if you have something that's a little bit thicker so that this stands up even higher, that is really good. But what we're going to do is once and you can pick any color you want to of your puffy paints. The one thing I do suggest is that it be a new bottle, because you don't want the air in it, so when you push on it, the air comes out. You have this nice clean design and look. And actually I did this one backwards. I put the puffy paint on first and then did the color over all of the top of it. You get 2 totally different looks on how you want to do that. So I'm going to put some puffy paint on here, and I'm just going to kind of show you. And I would just, don't overthink this. I am just doing swirls, and you can do dots, you can do hearts, and you can start them where you end them. And if you can't think of anything to do, just do big S's all in and out, and it'll look just fine. You can do some fleur-de-lis, whatever you want to do. There is no right or wrong. Now, of course, this should be dried, and it wouldn't be. Now see, that's why you want a full bottle right there, because when I did it the first time, I never had one do that. So, but you just don't overthink it. Just start doing a design. Like I said, even if you just did S's, so you had a big S there, you start your next S there, you start your next one here. You could just do all S's if you don't know what to do. And your fill-in spots, just fill it in with your dots. And you're going to see how that starts to get all nice and even. So on the eggs, I did them like that. I painted the gold or whatever my base color was first. On this one, I used a pearl tulip, and then I put a little bit of the gold paint back over the top of it just to kind of give it a rusty look. Now on this one over here, we did it a little bit different. We did the tulip, so it didn't matter what color of tulip paint we had. You could use anything you have in stock, and like I said, the only thing that I would suggest is that you, there goes that train of thought, have a full bottle, not a partial bottle, so that you don't have the air in it. Because when you're doing something like this, now we've only done one coat and the black shows through a little bit, but by the time you get the second coat done, it's not going to show through, and all you can see is just your metallic raised colors. So what I did on this one after I had finished that, so we're going to take our gold, and I'm going to take a little fatter liner brush. Usually I'm working with real long, like a 10-aught brush, but this one is just a number 1, so it's a little bit shorter. The brush hairs are not so long. It's a little bit fatter. And I'm just going to come back over this now with my gold and just kind of hit it. If you had a texture that was taller, you could rub it on with your finger, but this is not tall enough. And don't worry about this getting perfect, because this is not supposed to be perfect. It's supposed to kind of be a rustic, antique-ish look, so you kind of want it looking like it's a little bit rough. You don't want it nice and smooth and perfect. And you can even come in and hit a couple of areas if you want to, kind of like that, just to give it that rustic, older look. So we're just kind of coming back over this now. And you're going to do the remainder of the basket. Now, the one thing I didn't tell you about is the dry time on the tulip paint. Once you've put it on, let it sit overnight, and don't think that it's dry just because one little part is dry. Trust me, you'll stick your finger in it and you'll mess it up. I always do that. So let it dry overnight before you go and put the paint on, either the top coat paint or the highlight color, whichever method you're going to use of the two. There is no right or wrong. It's just to kind of give you an idea of how to create something on your own, or take what you have at home and build on it. That's what these are about. Use your imagination. I always tell you guys, question it and think about it, and what would you do to make it different. I'm just here to help guide you. I'm always thinking of different things, which at 3 o'clock in the morning is not always the funnest, but that gives us all kinds of new things to play with. And you can use a pearl color, you can use another metallic color. Now the gold does kind of give it an antique looking. Just use a color that's nice and complementary. The copper would give it a real nice antique-ish look too. So there, that would be a nice one as well. Okay, so we've got our little front done. Don't forget to do your handle as well. Let's see how nice that looks and how fancy. We've turned our $1 basket into a very expensive basket. And then do the same process on your eggs. Now when you're working on your eggs, you're going to do half of an egg at a time, because you're going to get your fingers in it and you need to be able to lay it down somewhere. So think about how that you can lay it down. I usually do like all the way from here to here, because I know I'm going to lay it down here. but you watch how it rolls too. If you've got a egg that's got a little bit heavier inside and it rolls one direction over another. Now this was just a pearl metallic paint and then just the pearl metallic puffy paint over the top. I think this one was actually a paint stick. So there is different things that you can use, and I did not go back over the top of it. You could almost go over it with a you could go over it with a little bit of gold, or you almost could do just a tad of black, not much, but just a tad of black to change that too. So don't get stuck, you know, thinking one way or another to make it kind of an antique-ish looking egg. There's all kinds of fun things you can do with it. But with the eggs, just be patient with them, though, that you're going to spend a couple days on them. Don't rush them, get your fingers into them where you don't want it, and then really mess it up. You'd rather have a nice egg in the long run. So you also could, this is an egg gourd, you also could do it with real eggs if you wanted to. I would blow them out first and do that, and they'd look pretty with a jar, a vase, sitting on your pedestal or whatever you wanted to do. So the variations are unlimited. Just take the information we gave you today and move forward with it and make it your own. If you have any questions about this, please email me at art@miriamjoy.com. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful Easter. God bless.